Now, I mentioned it in the opening, but you may have passed by it. I know I ramble on sometimes, and maybe the opening isn't for you. Maybe the opening isn't your cup of tea. I'm looking for feedback when it comes to the buckets, how we're going to do business this year. We're not going back to the old style where I just buy the horses and then, hey, would you like a piece? Hey, would you like a piece? It's too stressful and it doesn't allow me to do my job properly. What we did last year was quite simple. We told everybody we were going to spend X amount of dollars. I just called them buckets. I had I think a $300,000 or $400,000 bucket, $100,000 bucket for virtually, hopefully everybody that wanted to get in, and then we had that one, I called it the six figure, I guess the premium horse, and I think I'd capped it at like 140 or 50,000, a premium horse that we would purchase. Now that premium horse ended up being obviously Una Madonna, which was a good story. And as I said in the opening, please don't think just because we buy an expensive horse it turns out to be Una Madonna. We are going to get burned eventually, like every single owner and trainer since the beginning of time on horses. You're going to buy a horse and it doesn't work out. But we do the best we can. You know, as I said, we've bought three in my life. 3 Point Blue Chip, Una Madonna, Brace for Landing. Now Brace for Landing hasn't shown up yet, but he's well on his way to being, I think, being the horse we want him to be. So for Ohio, now this is, keep in mind, this is one video, one email, but it's meant for a lot of people, a wide swath of people. If you're out there, I would like to know what you would like. Where is everybody standing on how the buckets should look for Ohio? Just don't send me one email saying, my name is whatever. I would like, this is what I think one of the buckets should look like. How do you think we should set these up? In Ohio, do we have two buckets in Ohio? One 75,000 so that virtually everybody can get in, and another one at like 250. Now last year I had somebody say, well, who picks what horses go? I pick what horses go in every bucket. That is, we're not going to go down that road where what do you think? I will place the horses in the buckets where I see fit. And when you look at Austral Hanover and even Gandalf the Black, and although he hasn't lit the world on fire, he's clearly a talented colt. You don't know. I don't know. No one knows. So this idea that somehow we're putting different horses in buckets and I know where they should go, I don't. It's just simple math, and that's it. But I will be placing the horses in the buckets. So how would you like Ohio to go? How would you like Kentucky to go? How would you like Ontario to go? Now, when you look at, when we get through all the sales and you still have that last eighth of a mile, we still have Harrisburg. So we'll talk about Harrisburg another day, right? Let's talk about what's coming up quickly. It's almost August. It's August the 1st on Monday. The end of August, you got that, you got the ton of the Amish put their horses in the mix. Every year, everybody asks, why do they have 100 horses, 100 babies in that Ohio mix sale? Because, one, they could have been passed over. Remember, the Ohio Select sale is selected. Those horses, the people that run that sale, if you don't request it, they don't go out, but they'll go out to your farm, inspect your horse, and tell you if it fits in the sale. Then you got to pay, obviously a premium to be in the Select sale. So a lot of the Amish people just say, no, I'm going to breed my horse, I'm going to put it in the sale. People are going to buy it for whatever they buy it for. That's not to say there's not great horses there. It's not to say there's not bad horses there. They are not in the Select sale, but they are for sale. So we're going to look at that. I'm not talking about that sale or a couple of the smaller sales. This video is for you to tell me, what do you think the bucket should look like? And we are going with buckets. What do you think the bucket should look like for Ohio, the Ohio Select sale? What do you think they should, or Ohio in general? There's not to say that we can't put a horse from the Buckeye sale in there, right? Or even the first sale, if there's an interesting prospect. I haven't looked at the first sale. The entries are up, but I haven't looked at that sale. It's not generally one we just dive right into. I might pick one or two out of there maybe. They're not usually expensive. What does Ohio look like? What does our Lexington Select? That's going to be our big sale. We had a lot of interest in it last year. We'll likely have a lot of interest this year. I personally believe for the Lexington Select sale, we should have a $400,000 bucket. We should have a $150,000 bucket. We should have a premium horse that could be $100,000 to even $175,000. Is that too much? And this is why it's so important to get everybody's input, just because I see something in my head does not mean it's right, and I may miss something. Don't think for a second that I'm not human. I don't miss the forest for the trees sometimes too. Absolutely I do. So I'd like some input. How would you like to see Ohio, the state of Ohio, or the Ohio Select buckets go? There should be two. It should be one, which is probably $100,000 or less, so that everybody can get in for $750 or $1,000, and then we can have that main pool. Those aren't better horses. That's just a bigger selection. And we have people say, oh, I don't want trotters or I don't want pacers. We're going to have one or two pacers. We do. And for the people out there say, oh, you just don't get along with pacers. Guys, come on. We bought 45 paid trotters and 8 pacers. If I buy 8 pacers every year, eventually we're going to get a couple of decent pacers. And that's not to say that some of those pacers aren't good horses. But I feel the same way many of you do. It's feast or famine in the pacing division. I do feel more comfortable with trotters. But that's not to say we won't buy a couple of pacers. So that Ohio Select, it will have a couple of pacers in it. But buying it in that bucket format means you can sell. You can sell your 1 or 2% of your pacer whenever you want. The second the hammer drops, or as soon as I tell you who's in the bucket, you can easily just say, okay, I'm going to put those 2 pacers up for sale. I don't want them. And there's going to be people out there that want them. Of course there is. So the buckets are by sale or state. I don't think state should be fair. Ohio's a little different, right? A little different. So the Ohio Select, the Ohio Bucket, let's just call it the Ohio Bucket for now. The Ohio Buckets. How are they going to look? What would you like to see? Secondly, the Kentucky Select Sale Buckets. And then obviously we'll also go to Ontario, because Ontario's right after Kentucky, like a week or two later. We're not going to talk about Harrisburg today. We're not going to talk about Indiana, because it's always tough. It's jammed in everywhere. We'll grab an Indiana bred or two, because we do have some clients that are Indiana clients. Will we buy an Illinois bred? I don't know. Maybe we might buy one somewhere. Who knows? But these are our main sales. Ohio Select, Lexington Select. Then we have Ontario. And then we'll talk about Harrisburg later on. But for now, I wanted to get some feedback. I know what I think they'll look like. I want to keep it simple. I'll tell you what I thought. Ohio, probably 250, 300, and 75 or 100. 2 buckets. Lexington Select, 400, 150. And then that premium horse at Lexington, which I suspect will be between 100. Capped out this year maybe at 175. I feel a lot more comfortable around 140, but that's just me. We'll see. And then Ontario, we'll just have 1 or 2 buckets again. We'll spend like, I don't know, $175 or $200,000, and then 70, something like that. And it's not that I don't care about Ontario. I need to be very clear, and I've said this to a number of clients. Pat and I had a very good conversation about it the other day. I believe generally the Ontario horses are overpriced. They are. And I don't care what anybody thinks. That is my opinion. They are overpriced. When you look at the horses, when you look at the program, that's how I believe it is. And that's nothing against Ontario. Make no mistake. Ontario, we will retool their program a little bit, and it will become super competitive again. But when you look, to the other jurisdictions, but when you look at how much you race for and how much you pay for, I just think there's a wider berth there. So that's where we're looking at. That's what we're looking at doing this fall. We are looking to be in every jurisdiction again. We always are. As long as it's a value-based method in which we do it. But for me, for now, what I'm looking for you is, most importantly, Ohio, Kentucky, Ontario. What do you think? What are your thoughts? I'm here. Let me know. Take care.